G'day, today going to see how gluggable Gamay is. I'm Trent.
And I'm Jason, and we're the Wind Up Podcast. We're two guys on an unfiltered and unapologetically unprofessional wine journey. And our saying here is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So thoughts of the week, Trent. I've been thinking about sleep.
Yes, that's important.
Sleep is very important. And I had this question that popped into my mind around whether or not red wine makes you more sleepy than white wine. Have you ever pondered that?
While I was sleeping.
Yeah, so in your dreams, you were pondering?
Yes.
Honestly, has that question ever popped up?
Not really. I probably thought more about wine in general and how it affects sleep and how alcohol affects your sleep. It's probably what I'm thinking about.
In the younger days, in the heyday,
A couple of years ago.
a couple of weeks ago, I'd actually sway away from red wine because I believed white wine would keep up the energy and keep me awake. Red wine, I'm just going to snooze. Yeah. So if I'm at a gathering, I'd actually avoid red wine.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd make me sleepy.
I love all colours myself.
Yeah. So you're quite open, but it must mean it mustn't affect you. So I wanted to have a look. Is there any truth to this?
Is there any truth to this, Jace?
That's right. The results are surprising. It'll blow your mind. We on the Wine Up Podcast, we like to do our research, and there are two factors affecting whether or not wine's going to help you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And they are alcohol and melatonin. I needed to look down on my sheet to see if I could pronounce that correctly.
You did well.
Alcohol, it's in a lot of things. It's in beer, it's in gin, it's in wine, both red and white. And it is something that helps you relax. It's a sedative. So it helps decompress and impacts your central nervous system. Yeah. So you feel like you're in a euphoric, relaxed state, right?
Euphoric, relaxed state. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So alcohol in general, it's going to make you relax and loosen up your body. You're actually going to feel sleepy regardless.
Really? I thought I was like a better singer, be a better dancer when I have some alcohol.
That's your euphoric state that's kicking in when we start to use
got it. Okay.
So that's one thing, right? The other thing is melatonin. Yeah. And have you ever had melatonin pills to get to sleep on a plane?
I thought about it, but then I heard things for and against and opted otherwise.
Yeah, it sounds a bit scary. Anything like that's kind of controlling your body, I'm not a big fan of. Melatonin is a hormone that helps control your sleep cycle. Yeah. And there is a difference between red and white wine in that the red wine in the seeds, in the skins, in the flesh of the grapes itself actually has melatonin. And if we think about how white wine's produced, it's taken off the skins quite early on. Yeah. Whereas the reds, it's there fermenting away, extracting all that melatonin. So you put the dots together. If there's more melatonin in red wine, it should be putting you to sleep.
Yeah, we're at rosé.
Well, it's in between, right? It's a bit of a balance.
That's a half sleep then. That's
right. But it's interesting because the reality is the literature says red wine is exactly the same as white wine. It doesn't impact you. Isn't that mind-blowing? I told you it'd be mind-blowing. What they're saying is the amount of melatonin that's in red wine is like 10,000 times smaller than a pill that you typically take on a plane. So it actually has no impact. Yeah. So there you go. We've researched the hard-hitting problems in our society. Is red wine going to make you more sleepy than white wine? Apparently not.
Okay.
Personally, I think that's a load of crap because I still think red wine makes me sleepy. So if anyone has more statistics or facts to disprove that, let us know in the comments below. That's what I've been thinking about.
Interesting fact. I think I need to experiment with that and let you know how I go. What have I been thinking about?
Yeah, what is that?
Something I've been doing a bit more tasting at the moment. And one of the things that I hear and also see in literature is reductive notes or reductive winemaking.
Yes. There's also people in the industry that use that term reductive a lot.
I love reductive.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What do you think it means?
I feel like it's like reducing the flavor and the liquid content, like a sauce, effectively.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Oh my God. You made me think I was on the right track.
Okay, so the what first? So two sources. Website Wine Decoded and also Wine Enthusiast. So I thought these are kind of quite good explanations of what it is. So for Wine Decoded, winemaking techniques to protect juice and maturing wine from oxygen through exposure to oxygen, typically in order to maintain freshness and fruit characters.
Yeah.
So reducing oxygen, focusing on the fruit, and that's what reductive is. Wine enthusiast, it's doing everything in your power to limit exposure to oxygen in making of and storage of wine.
Right.
Okay. So it's basically reducing the amount of oxygen exposure. So it's the opposite of oxidative winemaking, like through barrels or I think
more exposure to oxygen.
Yeah, we saw like I think like the Bloom Chardonnay is more oxidative style, oxidative Chardonnays. So this is reductive, the opposite of that one.
So when Dan Eggleton's talking about adding dry ice to reduce the oxygen,
that's temperature.
No, but the intent was to take away oxygen as well.
No, it can add sulfur to reduce the amount of oxygen. So I'm going to talk about the methods of how they can do it. One is carbon dioxide, nitrogen, argon, so basically inert gases adding onto it to basically reduce the exposure to oxygen, similar to how we put argon through coravins to help protect it from oxygen. Preservatives, ascorbic acid and also sulfur, to scavenge the oxygen so that, again, it reduces the contact between oxygen and the wine. Third, avoiding or reducing the use of processes such as batonnage, which is lees stirring. So you see sometimes in barrels they have a hole there and they have a stick and they stir up the lees to get those flavors of the lees through the wine. So you just don't do that. You don't touch it. You leave them. And the fourth one's around using non-permeable storage vessels. So think stainless steel tanks versus barrels. Okay. So those are kind of 4 methods that winemakers can use to create that reductive notes on it. Now the why. So reducing oxygen exposure can help preserve fresh fruit notes.
Yeah.
But also what we've picked up before, like in the Sauveterre Frère, or if you had the Sauveterre Chardonnay, you get these reductive notes with that flintiness, the matchstick that comes through. So even though it's a good thing to be reductive and preserve those fresh fruit notes, wine still requires a certain degree of oxygen, and it's a kind of fine balance between reductive but not overly reductive. If you go overly reductive, what they call volatile sulfur compounds called mercaptans.
Sounds right. Sounds like a cereal as well.
Yeah, mercaptans. The result in stinky, skunky whiff of rotten eggs, rubber or sewage.
That doesn't sound appealing.
But on the good note, you get those struck matches in Flint sometimes that we like in some of those Chardonnays, especially the kind of Burgundian type of Chardonnays. So that's what reductive winemaking is, reducing exposure of oxygen to the winemaking to preserve the fresh fruit notes, to get those kind of matchstick flintiness to it.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you overdo it, you can cause a bit of sewage smells to come through.
That's a concern.
Do you like reductive winemaking?
I guess, I don't know. I'm kind of listening to it and I'm like, that's just part of the process. Like you've got to choose for your white. So you're going to reduce the amount of oxygen that you're letting through and let the fruits shine. There's probably, to me, it depends on the wine that you're trying to create as a winemaker and what you prefer at the time. So there's space for both. Is the way. Yep.
Yeah, it's just another, I think, we talk about kind of like levers they can kind of use, like how much oxygen you want to kind of give to the wine to create a different style. So you think of the winemaker there, kind of like at mission control, go a bit more oxygen, a bit less oxygen to create a different style that you want to do.
I just feel like maybe it's a bit overused then. Like it kind of complicates it, makes it sound fancy.
I think that's that kind of wine wankerism that comes through, going reductive. Oh, that guy knows something because he's saying these words.
It
like
sounds
reductive.
Fancy, but you're just reducing the amount of oxygen exposure. Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, you've taught me something. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe we should come up with our own jargon as well and pretend that we know something.
Yes. On the spot. No, I got nothing, which is why we don't know.
No, we go, this wine is wound up.
Yeah. What does that mean? It's been on a podcast.
Oh, don't you know? You don't know about wine then, obviously.
Obviously.
Okay, on to today's episode. Today we're going to look at how gluggable is Gamay.
Love that term, gluggable.
Gluggable, love that. So what do you know about Gamay? You've had a few?
I've had a couple. I wouldn't say I've had a lot and well experienced it. I do know that people say it's the poorer cousin to Pinot Noir. That's about it.
I love poor cousins.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Take it any way you want it. Okay, so today I thought it'd be good we're not going to so much delve into the world of Beaujolais, and Beaujolais being an area where Gamay grapes are synonymous with, but we're going to look at Gamay grape itself and 2 versions of it. One from Sorrenberg, Beechworth, one from Beaujolais, just to compare French style, traditional style versus the Aussie style.
Great.
And do that comparison. So just to give you a bit of background around what is Gamay, or they call it Gamay Noir, which is Gamay Black. That's my French coming in. Geography and history. So Gamay takes its name from a hamlet near Saint-Auban in Burgundy. I think it has tended to have a bit of a difficult history in the past. It was grown in Burgundy, but then in 1395, the Philippe the Bold, that's his name, or Duke of Burgundy.
Did he have hair or not?
B-O-L-D.
Okay, he was strong. Okay, got it.
But he could be a B-A-L-D as well. Yeah. He issued a decree talking about the Gamay grapes, how had this kind of bitterness to it and actually caused people to be ill. And he had an order saying, everyone rip up your Gamay vines within a month and take them away in favour for Pinot Noir.
Okay.
So displace, maybe that kind of unwanted cousin that you kind of referred to, got pushed down south. So south of Burgundy and into an area also called Beaujolais.
Yeah.
Okay. Through there, I guess Beaujolais kind of thrived through the type of soils there and then created all the different appellations. We can delve into that into a different time, but I want to talk more around the grape itself. Gamay, the parents are Pinot Noir and Gouais Blanc, which is this kind of white wine that we don't drink much of in Australia. And its siblings were Chardonnay.
Right.
So think about it. Parents, Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And siblings are Chardonnay. So kind of like has relatives that are quite famous.
Yeah.
So
royal family is what I'm thinking.
Royal family. It's like, I don't know, the Prince George.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Part of it. Yeah. Part of the family. Yeah.
And then in terms of taste, I kind of compare it like between Pinot Noir and Grenache.
Okay.
So not as light as Pinot Noir, is not as kind of big and fruitful as Grenache, kind of sitting somewhere in between.
Right.
And Gamays tend to be referred to as light in color, low levels of acidity and tannins, highly fruit aromatics and intended generally to drink young. So more of a drink now type of wine, really bright, fresh, fun type of wine to drink, which I think is a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does have extremely thin skins. We talk about Pinot Noir being the fickle kind of grape variety. It's hard to grow through mold and mildew and all that. But this has even thinner skins than Pinot Noir. And what that means is that it kind of lends itself towards what they call carbonic maceration.
Oh, another fancy term. What does that mean?
It's not what you do on the Friday night, but carbonic maceration is simply put.
Hold on. What do I do on a Friday night that means that? That's... Yeah. Are we going to go into that now? We're just going to bypass that altogether. Okay.
Simply put, it's a fermentation happening inside the grape rather than outside the grape. So generally, to make wine, you crush the grapes, it becomes liquid, the juice ferments, and then you create wine from the sugars and the alcohol.
Yeah.
In this one, you create inert gases around it, so carbon dioxide. Yep. So two ways to do it. One is adding carbon dioxide, putting the grapes in there, and then you start getting that fermentation from within the grape itself. Yep. The other way is you just lump all the grapes onto each other. Yeah. It creates pressure onto the grapes at the bottom. Yeah. The juice comes out, that creates carbon dioxide as a byproduct of it, comes back up. It's a closed tank. Oh. And then the carbon dioxide then creates that kind of seal. Yeah. And then the other grapes from above then start creating the fermentation from within the grape itself. And that's what we call semi-carbonic maceration.
So what's full carbonic then?
Full carbonic is where you can add CO2 into a tank.
Okay.
And then add the grapes into it. So right from the start, there's no oxygen or standard fermentation that's done. Sorry. After you do the fermentation from within the grape, it only creates about 2% worth of alcohol from that one. So then goes through a second fermentation, which is a normal style, which you add yeast to it.
Yep.
And then you create the fermentation to what it is, like 12, 13% alcohol for the Gamay grape. So the general tasting notes for Gamay are, most of them people don't like because it creates this kind of bubblegum confectionery type of taste to it that people think it's a bit cheap. I don't know.
Right.
Banana and raspberry. But the better versions creates a bit of black pepper, minerality, and black cherry notes to it. In terms of what I think you should enjoy it with, it's more of a spring, summer type of a drink to have, slightly chilled. Charcuterie pizza. And I think it's a wine that people often overlook because one, people probably don't know much about it.
Yeah.
And two, people might prefer towards have the Pinot Noir and the Grenache that's a bit more cooler in terms of the cousins. So the two wines we're going to try today is...
Yeah. So let me hold this up to the screen.
The 2022 Domaine de Colette Beaujolais-Villages. So just a quick one on what Beaujolais-Village is that in Beaujolais area, similar to France and other areas, there is Beaujolais wine. Then the next level up is Beaujolais-Village, which is the village. And then next one up there is then the Grand Crus, so certain areas. So before we had wine, which is, I forgot for which episode, we had a Molon-Avent, which is the king of Beaujolais.
Yes.
This one's near an area called Morgon, which is also another kind of big Grand Cru area that provides more of a robust type of Beaujolais wines. So we're going to try that one, and we're going to try that against the 2023 Sorrenberg Gamay that we got direct from Sorrenberg, $55. The interesting thing about this Sorrenberg, so you can probably start to try it, I kind of talk you through the Sorrenberg one, is that it uses a combination of both traditional Gamay techniques and also standard techniques like fermenting juice. So I thought that was quite interesting. So it uses Gamay, but also uses 10% Pinot Noir. Half the Gamay was cold macerated, where the fruit is picked cold, crushed and left to soak 4 days. So standard ways in terms of crushed grapes, creating fermentation. But then the rest of it, 20% of the fruit is left whole in the ferment, creating carbonic maceration. It's a mix of both worlds to create that kind of blended style. What should we start to pick up is dark spice cherries, red currant, cranberry notes. But I think having tried it slightly earlier, I love that kind of bright acidity to it.
Yeah.
But it has a kind of earthiness. I like the kind of touch of oak that comes through in it. I think it has 11 months on oak that creates that really good balance between the bright fruit and that kind of the oakiness, vanilla coming through in the back palate. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Sorrenberg have just done it again. Yeah. Like, I couldn't get over the Chardonnay, but this is delicious. The fruits absolutely stand out, and it's got a really nice bouquet about it. But it's the texture on the mouth that I feel is really nice. It's got this kind of rounded, I guess, more textural feel to it. And then the lasting finish on that the spiciness and the fruit just comes on. It won't go away. It's fantastic.
I love the perfume on the nose. Mm-hmm. It's a bit like, it's not Turkish delight rose water, but it has that really strong perfumed, bright cherries, like not cooked cherries, but kind of like really like those glacé cherries that you have, at the top of like cheap dessert sometimes. It's like that type of smell that kind of comes through.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but not necessarily the sweetness of that.
Mm. Then it has the tannins that comes through from the oak coming through. And it has a really nice balance, and the length of it kind of like really comes through, which I don't expect from a Gamay.
No, but the acidity stands out as well, which is what we would expect from the Gamay. But it's all quite balanced together, as Sorrenberg does. You've got that sexy face on you again, which means it's good, right?
Yeah, it's like, because it feels like when there's a good one, you love that the smells to come back out through, and through your nasal passage,
breathing it in,
breathing it in. They come through. It's like, that's really nice. It's like that smoking gun that goes, that's really nice.
Yes, I completely agree. Super enjoyable.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
Next one. Let's compare Australia to France. Beaujolais-Villages. 2022 Domaine de Colette. As mentioned, it's less than 1 kilometre from the border of Morgon, which is a Grand Cru area. They're quite natural in how they do it. They harvest by hand. Only healthy grape clusters are emptied in the tank, made in traditional Beaujolais manner. So the grape bunches are kept whole. During fermentation, lovely interplay between fruit and savoury characters, raspberry and strawberries. What are you picking up?
Yeah, you mentioned it right at the start, bubblegum. And you get that on the nose, you get that on the taste. It's not intoxicating and overpowering, but it's quite a clear smell there. Between the two, the acidity is quite similar, and there is quite a finish there. But the Sorrenberg Beechworth it's more complicated. It's more nuanced. It's got the longer spices, more of the fruit.
I agree. I feel like the Sorrenberg nose is so much better than this one.
Yes.
But then tasting it, the acidity is still there, but I don't think it's as good as the Sorrenberg. And the finish on the Domaine de Colette is also a lot shorter as well. It kind of hits you and then it dies. Yeah. I think that's where, like, with the Sorrenberg, they're quite smart how they use it slightly, mixed between standard fermentation, also carbonic, to kind of come together, and also with the oak, really provides a nice balance from the start to finish, where this one's kind of hits you, it's nice, and then it finishes.
What do you think of that bubblegum kind of smell and taste?
The bubblegum or the bubblegum?
Bubblegum. Yeah. Can you sense that? Can you taste
No,
it?
because when I think bubblegum, I think Hubba Bubba
Yeah.
and Hubba Bubba strawberry flavor. I'm not getting that. I feel that it's been more
kind of smell to it. And I think it's true. In some ways, it can make it feel cheaper.
For me, it smells a bit dirty rather than confectionery.
Mm.
Should we go to Corkscrews?
Yeah, and if I'm just gonna taste the Sorrenberg again. What's your thoughts? Yeah,
Sorrenberg Gamay, 8 out of 10. Purely because it's well-made wine. Love the complexity in terms of different layers. Has the brightness of fruit. Has a long finish to it as well, and the perfume of it. I can just keep smelling that all day. 8 out of 10. The Domaine de Colette, Beaujolais-Villages, 6 out of 10.
Have you heard a lot of hype about the Sorrenberg Gamay?
I have. I probably fell in love with the Chardonnay first and go, oh, you got to try the Gamay.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that I try the Gamay, I understand why I like the Gamay, but I'm still probably more of a Chardonnay person.
Yeah, well, based on the commentary in the community and so forth, a lot of people were saying the Gamay is really good, and it is good. It's just not as good as the Chardonnay. And I'm also thinking about the other wines we tried from Beechworth.
Yeah, the SBS.
And Fighting Gully Sangiovese.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's at that level. Look, I really enjoy it. I give the Sorrenberg 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I think the Gamay Beaujolais-Villages.
Yeah.
I think the bubblegum's kind of put me off a bit. I'd give that a 6. So I think we're on the same wavelength in regards to that. Wow.
Thoughts around Gamay?
I think Gamay's got this bad perception for some reason. I don't know why. Clearly, it's not that bad at all. I don't think it should be discounted. I don't think it should be labeled the poorer cousin. It's got standing on its own.
Yeah.
So certainly, if anyone's got some recommendations on Gamay, let us know. I think in this instance, Australia wins.
I totally agree. I think Australia wins in this one. I think, yeah, it does have its place. I do think it still does sit between that kind of Pinot and Grenache kind of spectrum. Yeah, I think it's a perfect one on a spring day, having some charcuterie or whatever like that. It's a fun wine, but in this sense, Sorrenberg kind of done its magic again.
Yeah, agree. And this is, to me, this is a red wine that's not going to make me sleepy because of the liveliness. So pretty good.
Melatonins.
That's right. Trent, thank you for sharing the journey. So is Gamay Gluggable?
Most definitely, yes.
It's Gluggable, right. Awesome. So that's us at the wind up. Let us know which Gamay you love in the comments below. As we like to say here, drink more, try more, learn more.